A marshal blows his whistle. A Volkswagen Amarok saves the day. A Hilux ends up between a rock and a hard place. A man blows a horn. And a chimney doesn't hit some poles. A Land Rover takes a break.
No, I'm stuck.
And a chimney gets stuck. Welcome to round 7 of the 2016 Bridgestone 4x4 Club Challenge. It's the penultimate round of the 2016 challenge, and with the stakes high, the obstacles even higher, and the pressure on, it's time for the top crews to really put their hands up and be counted. Based at the all-new Spurksbreit 4x4 trail near Heidelberg, the competition is about to get as challenging as we've seen it, with route master Saki Kutsia turning up the wick some more. And remember, the teams compete in near-standard 4x4s in short and long wheelbase classes, so the challenge is all the more, well, challenging. So with the registration briefings, tyre deflation and scrutineering completed, it's time for some 4x4 action at the Spurksbreit 4x4 trail. This is obstacle 3. This challenge starts off with a decline, followed by some soft sand, and then a short but slippery climb to round it off. This is Peter Gundlach and Martin de Toy in a Suzuki Jimny. Let's ride with the lads. And that's 100 points in the bank. This seemed to impress Peter. This is Arno Roux and Yaku Nel, and they're driving a Suzuki Grand Vitara. After inspecting the obstacle and also working out a most ingenious plan to also score 100 points, Arno jumps into the Suzuki and sends a text message to his better half telling her all about the cunning plan. Right, so it looks as if he's finally ready to rumble. Down goes the Vitara, but oh no, he's taken out a pole there. He's made it successfully through the sand, now just for that last slippery climb. With the well-proven right foot method, he makes it up. Next up, we have the experienced Danny Daniels, with Rob Wallace telling him where to go on the track. Hitting one pole on the entry gate is not a good start. The rest of the obstacle is dispatched easily, and that's 75 points for Danny and Rob. Let's move right along to obstacle 1. This is obstacle 1, and it's a nasty side slope business, where the correct line is essential. Otherwise, a 4x4 may end up with a scratched roof. This is George Ratemeyer and Ronald Stevens in a Mitsubishi Triton. Steady as she goes, and the Triton makes it through the first turn without taking out a pole. Now just for that last section, the really tricky last section. Oh dear, first he stops, then takes out one pole. But now the Triton is leaning at a rather peculiar and uncomfortable angle, so uncomfortable that the marshals decide to intervene before the Mitsubishi's roof gets scratched.
Don't turn your wheel. Make it straight.
The Triton heads out of the obstacle with 0 points. This is obstacle 6, where the competitors have a choice between a rough climb up amongst some boulders and an easier but still rocky route. The easier route is only worth 70 points though. Most competitors in 4x4s with limited ground clearance decided to take the easier route, but giving an obstacle a skip is not quite Wimpy Olivier and Sean Niemann's thing. After much deliberation and planning, Wimpy is finally ready to have a go. Taking it slow and steady, Wimpy and the Hilux does a grand job of the first part of the obstacle. But then...
Jy sien teen 'n rots. Hy sien hoog nie. Net so.
Net op.
Gaan hom net op en dan gaan jy oorkom. Hier's 'n palie. Hier's hierdie rots. Sodra jy opkom, jy moet swaai. Klein bietjie.
After a bit more planning, Wimpy has another go.
Gaan 'n klein bietjie terug. Luister. So ver van hom af. As jy nou wegtrek. In die tyd wat hierdie wiel hier kom, is jy op hy rots daar. Jy gaan hom klein bietjie moet...
Ja.
Klein bietjie moet gaan met hom. Kijk.
Right.
Onthou, as hierdie wiel klim.
The Hilux needs more momentum to mount the boulder. So after reversing to gain said momentum, Wimpy goes for it. Dearie me, the Hilux made it through okay, but it took some shots there. Wimpy, for once, was at a loss for words.
No comment.
Speak to my lawyer.
On that legal note, it's time to head to the shops. When we return, the obstacles get even bigger and tougher. You're back at the Spoorkspreek 4x4 trail near Heidelberg, where the Bridgestone 4x4 Club Challenge teams are facing some daunting 4x4 obstacles. This is obstacle 8, and it's not nearly as daunting as some of the other tests. There are a few tricks though, as Gareth Gonsalves and Chantal van Niekerk demonstrate. First, the teams have to navigate themselves over some rocks to a gate where they have to stop and sound a horn. Next, they have to reverse over the rocks and try and knock one ball off its perch without knocking a second ball, positioned precariously close to the first one, off its pole. So it's plenty of tricky. Chart Prinsloo and Lawrence Klopper are in a Suzuki Jimny, which should theoretically be just the ticket here because of its smaller size. Off they go.
Bly links. Yes, okay, kom bietjie reg. Op die een.
With Lawrence jumping rocks like a mountain goat and the little Jimny also doing a great job, Chart makes it to the horn with all of his points in the bank.
Happy.
Now for the tricky reverse business. Oh dear, that went horribly wrong. The Jimny has taken out 2 poles, but was nowhere near the one it was supposed to nudge. So Chart takes a roll forward and has another shot.
Okay, buddy, kom.
Come on, Chart, you can do it. And he's done it. Well done, lads.
Okay, nou uit.
Kan ek uitgaan?
Uit by die gate.
Kan ek vir klippe los by die huis?
Back on the road, Lawrence knew exactly who to blame for the initial mishap.
Toe maar ekskuus Lou, ek het hierdie
Ek kon nie.
ek kon jou nie sien
staan
nie
nie.
en ek Wat?
Obstacle 9 was a bit of a surprise for the teams. Here they had to drive a Mitsubishi Pajero fitted with a Tough Dog suspension front-runner kit and Bridgestone's new Dueler D693-3 all-terrain tyres. The obstacles still counted towards the overall points, so all the teams took it rather seriously. Talking about serious, this is short wheelbase class overall points leaders Johan Becker and Johan van der Heever, scoring another solid 100 points here. Meanwhile, elsewhere at Spurksbreit, between obstacles, Arno Roux had beached his Suzuki Grand Vitara on a rock, and the GV was refusing to be unbeached by itself. So it was stuck. With no other team nearby, our VW Amarok crew vehicle was literally roped in to save the day. And eventually Arno and his GV was free. And talking about getting stuck, Obstacle 10 proved to be the nemesis of many teams, a tough rocky business, and there are a few boulders that can catch out the unwary. This is Baron Pretorius and Shante Smith inspecting the rocks and a plausible line through the mayhem. They drive a tough old Isuzu KB Plus Bucky, so they should be okay here, hopefully.
Kijk, raak het aan. Je is nog even bij mijn vol niet. Is nou voorbij om. Kijk, raak het aan. Je is bij je rippel. Dan niet je lijn mooi vat. Vlok. Kant. De vlok. Oké, mijn kant toe. Mijn kant toe. Oké. Raak het aan. Raak het aan.
The Isuzu gets through the first half of the obstacle in a most splendid fashion. But then... oh dear. The Isuzu has lodged itself on that large rock and isn't going anywhere soon. So Barends and the marshals pack some rocks, but that doesn't help at all. To plan B then. Load a lot of large men onto the back and make them jump up and down.
later.
Although the men seemed to enjoy that a lot, the Isuzu remained firmly wedged upon that rock. So to plan C, and a man called Saki Kutsia with a high lift jack, some straps and plenty of manpower. Saki and his henchmen shifted the Isuzus back to the right, and eventually, finally, the KB is free. Break time again. On the other side, the mayhem continues at obstacle 10, and we find out who won round 7 of the Bridgestone 4x4 Club Challenge. Before the break, we were at obstacle 10 at the Spoorkspreet 4x4 trail, where an Isuzu KB had to be recovered in a rather expansive manner. Here are short wheelbase points leaders Johan Becker and Johan van der Heever again, now back in Johan's nifty little Jimny. The team should own this obstacle, right? Well, there is that old saying of never count your chickens before they hatch. The Suzuki deals with the first part of the challenge rather splendidly, but then, oh crikey. The little Jimny has firmly wedged itself upon the large rock in the middle of the obstacle.
Whole side of this car's off the ground. Yeah, mate, go. The whole side of this car's off the ground.
Okay.
The marshals stand closer to lend a hand, but still the Jimny is firmly wedged on that rock.
Ja, ek wil nie. Jy kan my skop.
Clearly Johan and Johan are not big fans of being stuck upon a rock, so they jump out and quite literally take matters into their own hands. Finally, with a little push, the Jimny is free and makes it through the rest of the obstacle. This is Ricardo Ferreira and Jaco Buerta, and they're in a Jeep Cherokee XJ. I wonder how far they'll get. The team starts off and, oh dear, that wasn't very far at all. The Cherokee gets going again, but now there's a large rock in the way, so Ricardo has to reverse to get past that rock.
Hold back. Start off. Op. Kom op, kom start off, Ricardo.
With the Jeep properly lined up, and with a smidgen of momentum, he gets through. Now just for that impossible large rock in the middle of the track. Ah, the lads seem to have a cunning plan. They're aiming the Jeep so that its right front wheel will go over the rock, and they're over without getting wedged. Blimey, this is a great run. Now just for the last gate. Watch out for the Oh no, man. Now you've gone and ruined it. The next team to attempt this tough obstacle are Ben and Francois Pretorius. in a Toyota Hilux single cab. This could get rather interesting. The Hilux dips right into it, slides off a rock, but still manages to keep going. The team brilliantly circumnavigates the rock in the middle of the track. So now it's just that last gate. Oh no! The Toyota's gearbox had jumped out of gear, leaving the Hilux momentarily stranded. But it gets going again, and through she goes. Good work there, lads. We conclude this obstacle and the 4x4 driving, fittingly, with the Land Rover Discovery 3. Zach Lovelock and Jonathan Toms have had an interesting time in the Landy on this track. Here's holding thumbs. The first section goes quite brilliantly, but then, oh dear.
No, I'm stuck. My suspension just dropped me.
After some deliberation, it's decided to restart the Landy and reset the computer. After the restart, the air suspension thankfully is back in action and raises the Discovery to a more appropriate height. So off goes Zach again. He gets past the big rock okay. And the Land Rover impressively lifts a wheel as its traction control sorts out the details. They don't make the turn to the final gate, but after a reverse, they make it through. Time then for some winners to be announced. In third place in the shorty class were Kobus Boerma and Nico Prince in a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. Second place belonged to another Jeep Wrangler Ruby, this one piloted by Lawrence and Beryl Dames, but scoring an outstanding 975 points on a track as tough as nails were Flip Kotzer and Herman Stein in a Suzuki Jimny. Third in the long wheelbase class were Vaughan Ashford and Noel Jones in a Nissan Hardbody V6. Second place was claimed by Johan and Mareka Reichel in a Toyota Fortuner. And winning the long wheelbase segment were Gareth Gonsalves and Chantal van Niekerk, scoring a very handy 800 points. And that's the Spoorspruit story. Next week, it's final time, as the teams make their way to the De Voetpad Kloof Resort near Loskop Dam in Mpumalanga. Tune in next week to find out who are the 2016 Bridgestone 4x4 Club champions. Till then.